Hi, I'm Libra. Welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2022 love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and the gap spread. And the way it works is a look at the past energies, present energies, and future energies between you and a main love interest. Once we get through all that, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridge and the gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot Sexual Magic. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as the energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like it's the other way around in your situation, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have the Ace of Cups. So to me, this represents that you guys definitely started to feel some feelings toward this person in the past and possibly saw some potential for you guys to have a love connection, but I feel like for the majority of you didn't necessarily come forward and express that, but it's just something that you started to feel. Past energy on their side, we have the Six of Wands. So this is Leo energy here, and for some of you this could just be saying that they might have been the ones who actually were the ones to advance within the connection, to make the first move. Some of you could have even been friends for a while. Maybe there started to be some feelings that started to grow between the two of you. And timeline-wise, this approach from them might have even been around the Leo full moon that we had recently. Okay. In the present position on your side, we have Wisdom. So this is actually the equivalent of the High Priestess. And what I get from this could just be saying that you're still trying to feel this person out, right? So in the past, you might have gotten the initial feelings that started to grow, and now in the present, you could still be considering, like, okay, now that I'm starting to get these feelings, let me observe them for a bit, right, and see if we'd really be a good match or not. But in that process, I feel like there's not much communication between the two of you, especially not with your feelings as far as that goes, because if we look, they're in the same room together, right? But she's just has her back turned to him in her book there, and then he has that sword which represents communication. So yeah, I feel like this is saying that rather than you guys communicate to this person around your feelings, you're just trying to feel it out and see if they'd be a good fit for you. Alright. Present position on their side, we have the Tower. So for the majority of you, I feel like this isn't going to be as dramatic as the artwork implies in this deck, but it could just be one of those things where, again, like I said, if they came forward toward you in the past, right, which seems to be the case, and you're just in your own world and not really expressing to them one way or the other if you reciprocate those feelings or not, they might have just started to come to the assumption that, okay, well, maybe Libra's with someone else, right, and then they might just, because of that, they might decide to cut off the connection as far as, okay, well, clearly they must be engaged elsewhere because they're not really, interacting with me. So that could be the stance that they take. Yeah, for the majority of you, that's what I feel it is. Just them, with the lack of communication that seems to be coming through on your side, they might just kind of assume the worst in that regard. Right, and future energy on your side, we have Fortune. So this is the Wheel of Fortune, which represents Jupiter energy. Now, for some of you, this could just be saying that you might still continue to see some signs and synchronicities regarding how you should approach the connection with this person. So, for example, maybe you hear songs that reminds you of the person, or in your dream world, they might see some things that might point to the connection with this person. But I feel like there's still a reluctance on your part to take action. For some of you, this could be saying that it might take till we even get into the Jupiter transit through Aries, which is your opposite sign, for you guys to actually take action around the connection. All right, and future energy on their side, we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, the Hermit in reverse, and the Three of Chalices. So looking at these two coming up in reverse there, could just be saying that, especially if they did decide to cut ties, right? With this in reverse, could just be saying that they might be considering coming back to try to open the lines of communication between the two of you again, right? With the Hermit in reverse, I feel like this is saying that they might have given some more thought to the situation where they might have felt like you were engaged in another connection, and maybe for whatever reason they come to the conclusion that no, that wasn't actually the case, right? Even though this is in the future position, for some of you, this might have even taken place for them when the full moon in Virgo happened, or For example, maybe that's one day this might have happened, and then they could be reflecting on that time, like, okay, yeah, maybe I overreacted a bit there, right? And then with the Three of Chalices, to me, this represents them actually seeing the potential within the connection again and coming forward to you guys in a bit more of an emotional way. See if anything else comes to mind with that. Yeah, it's pretty much what I'm feeling there. For some of you, this could definitely be something that might extend into summer as well. Because, like I said, I got that impression with the Fortune card on your side that it might be something that might take a little longer. But for some of you, it could just be as simple as that, where they have that moment. Like I said, maybe around the Virgo full moon was when it happened. And then after they give it a little more time, they're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I overreacted there. Come back in and try to reestablish things. All right. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have transformation. So this is the equivalent of the death card in traditional tarot, and could just be saying that what happens here is, well, there is going to be actually in May, there's going to be a full moon eclipse in Scorpio. So for some of you, could just be pointing to that as far as the transformation within the connection, especially because we see the names Pluto and Persephone on the card. So could just be one of those things where it could be an on again, off again cycle that you guys go through, right? Could just be saying that in the near future we'll be in the back into the on again cycle. But yeah, that's what I see with that. And bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Seven of Swords. So this is Aquarius energy here. And in traditional tarot, we think of more deception with the Seven of Swords energy, but here it points more to a disconnect, right? And having to actually find that common ground between the two sides. So, yeah, like I said, it looks like I don't think it's going to be major for some of you, even though that Tower energy does look pretty dramatic in this deck in particular, but I get the feeling that it's basically saying that due to a lack of communication on your part, this person would start to assume the worst. You still seem to be interested, but also kind of in your own world. But it does look like they will actually come forward again and try to get things off the ground with you guys. All right, so moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we'll see what we get from the Aqua Moonlight deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck, and what I'm going to be looking for is unspoken messages from you to them, and from them, and from you to them. Did I just say that backwards? Let me try that again. I'll be looking for unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. There we go. And I'm going to shuffle for a while looking for jumpers initially, but if nothing comes up, I'll just put the deck down and pull a card that way. But yeah, let's see what we get. So yeah, like I said, first we'll looking for unspoken messages from you to them. All right, and that does want to go back in the deck. And next we'll see what we get from them to you. Almost had one there. All right, and this one doesn't want to go back in the deck. So let's see what we got on your side first. Okay, we have Mountain. It says something or someone is standing in between us right now. Interesting. Well, it's possible, interestingly enough, for some of you, I still feel like this would be a small percentage of you if this was the case. But for some of you, then this Tower moment could point to, if they were in another connection, they might actually be leaving that behind in the present. And then after they take some time to put that behind them, they might come towards you. But I still feel like that's for a smaller percentage of you. But yeah, like I said, it just seems like for whatever reason, you don't necessarily feel comfortable expressing your feelings toward this person. And let's see, on their side, we have sadness. All right. It says, I feel like I've lost you and I'm not coping well with it. So yeah, this definitely seems to resonate with what I was seeing there, where, like I said, it looks like the Tower moment, even though it looks super dramatic, might just be as simple as them cutting off the connection between the two of you. Like, okay, Libra's not really reciprocating here, so I guess they're not interested. And then we could see that regret energy coming in there, where I talked about the Two of Pentacles in reverse, and then the Hermit in reverse, followed by the Three of Chalices. And even with the Seven of Swords, because like I said, in this deck in particular, points more to a disconnect versus deception. All right, lastly, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and then we'll wrap up. Same situation as far as I pre-shuffle this deck as well. Here we're just looking for one card, though. with general advice. Got one there. Okay. So you guys got go to distance. There's the artwork, and the number is 47. So yeah, that could be an indicator there that this definitely would be more of a temporary thing, and you guys can get things back on track. Like I said, for some of you might be a little bit further out, just from what I was seeing in a future position, but for some of you might happen as early as April. Okay, it says endurance, strength, the long haul. The Oracle's message. To bring your dream to life, you must think long term and pay no attention to the fluctuations in the current of your experience. Joy and disappointment coming with opportunities, so there is no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. This card is a reminder that you have the endurance, strength, and fortitude to carry you all the way. Remain true to yourself. Your authenticity alone will keep you in alignment with the energy of miracles. What is yours will never be withheld from you. Remember that. Pretty positive message there. And then the relationship message says you either are in or are calling in a harmonious relationship that can stand the test of time. For better or worse, as you ride the ups and downs and even strain, break yourself, and are remade in new growth, you are being redeemed by the power of regeneration. Harmony does not mean that there will never be a wrong note played, but that the relationship is marked by endurance and dedication to overall unity. A new song can be written, an instrument can be tuned, and a symphony of love will play on. Listen with your heart. Isn't it magnificent? So, interesting message there, especially the part where it said, listen to your heart, isn't that magnificent? Because I was talking about how in the future especially, looks like you guys might just hear songs that remind you of this person and just might be seeing other synchronicities, possibly dreams, things along those lines. So yeah, like I said, for some of you, there could definitely clearly be a hiccup in the connection, at least in the present position, but it looks like in the future you guys will be able to repair things if you're interested in doing so. So whatever resonates with you guys, we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.